All right,
Robinson Show. We are back with Joey D.
Joey DiPiazza.
DiPiazza, how are you, dude?
Yeah, man. We're using the full name from now on.
Nice. So, that's a change.
It's gangster. It's gangster, right?
You're bringing it back, man. Now you're a stand-up from. You're in New York, but you're from Chicago, right?
Originally from Chicago. I've lived in New York probably 5 of the last 10 years of my life. Yeah, so that's absolutely accurate. But you know what's funny? I don't really talk about Chicago too much in my act, but there's other comics out there that are like, you know, from Boston, lived here for 17 years, and all they fucking talk about is Boston. I don't get it.
That's all they got. That's all
I think if I talk shit about Chicago might come and whack me or something. You know, there's a lot of shit going on over there.
What'd you like better? What city?
Oh, I love New York better. New York is the center of existence. Yeah. Absolutely. It's not even a contest.
Nice, dude. Nice. How long have you been doing comedy for?
I've been doing comedy on and off for like 6 years, and but like hardcore, like every night, for a couple of years, which is good. But I got a little cachet because I'm not exactly 20. I'm not 60 years old. I'm not 50 years old, but I'm not 20 years old. So I kind of got a PhD in life. When you go up on stage, I'm not like a meek, mild, little sensitive cat. I mean, I go up and I take no prisoners.
I watched a bunch of your clips, dude. You got great energy, and yeah, you could tell you're pretty comfortable in your own skin.
Well, I appreciate that, and thanks again for having me on, man. You guys, you got something good going, man. I mean, since the announcement that I was going to be on your show, like my Twitter followers like went through the roof. I'm not fucking around, man. I mean, yeah, I really appreciate it.
I'm always shocked. One of our he's been on a ton. We've had a comedian from Arizona, Preston Gunderson. He said he couldn't believe just by coming on like how much Twitter action he got.
Yeah, it's and this stuff's great. That's why comedy's great. And I've been on a few different podcasts and a few different shows. I'm regularly on the NYC Crime Report here in New York City, which is, I'm sure you guys heard of it, and it's really big here. And I love doing that type of stuff. I mean, anything from the break from, I'm on stage every night, so anything that's cool like this, I jump on it. It's cool. So again, I appreciate it.
I like too, when we were originally going back and forth in the email, you said you were hoping I was going to punk you. I was going to ask, has anyone fucked with you, like had you on and just like been a dick to you?
Well, yeah. Well, it's fun. Now, who's who here? Who's Rob and who's Slim?
I'm Rob.
I'm Slim.
I'm Slambo.
All right,
we have Lamborghini.
And we have Kevin Israel.
All right, Kevin Israel. All right.
He's our friend. He's a comedian.
Oh, all right. That's good. So I got to watch everything I say because he'll jump on me. All right, that's good. No,
it's a real big deal.
Yeah, big deal.
So
well,
big, I'm in the Robinson
show. Well, it's kind of like when I'm on stage, man, I'm kind of a beast, and nobody really fucks. I mean, like I don't get half the shit that a lot of comics get, and I want it. I enjoy going back and forth, but like when I go up there, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I'm like a 6'3" fucking tattooed maniac, hairy Italian guy. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Probably what it is. You just intimidate people.
I think so. That intimidation.
6 foot tree.
Yeah. I tell him. I said, come on. Well, sometimes I'll purposely go up and I won't prepare any material, and I'll just go up there and be like, all right, ask me a question. What the fuck do you want to talk about? And Israel's a comedian. He knows. He does that.
Yes, I know. I do a lot of crowd work and a lot of crowd interaction, and it's my favorite part of the act because it's for us. It's the newest. It's always something new. It's always something. It's fun. When you're doing your material. After a while, when you've done the same joke 1,000 times, I hate the people when they do
you guys think like when you do the same joke over and over again, does eventually become like you go on autopilot where you're like sometimes forget like, oh, did I say that joke already? Like
I was on stage.
Yeah, there is an autopilot, but I will tell you this about New York City comedy. I'm a traditional. I'm not really a Brooklyn comic. Brooklyn comics a lot like alt. There's an alt scene here. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it, where it's excuse me. It's a lot of crowd work. It doesn't necessarily function like I'm a Manhattan club comic. So when I get up, you're laughing at bare minimum every 10 to 15 seconds. I mean, the way they train us in the big clubs, because I work at Dangerfield's, Broadway Comedy Club and Greenwich Comedy Club and a bunch of other little places in the village. I mean, you get up there, it's all about your materials. So Israel, you said you love the crowd work. Now when I get up and I start doing crowd work, if like my mentors and some of the bigger pro comics are in the crowd and I'm doing too much crowd work, I get fucking yelled at, man. When I get off stage, they're like, "Dude, your material." So there's like kind of there's a rigid, strict structure of like a Manhattan club comic, and a lot of people don't know that. So I thought I'd like to bring that to light because I know you have a lot of comedy on, and maybe you guys didn't know that. So it's not the funniest story, but that they definitely train us. You got to do your material. But I will say this about me is that there's no two sets that are ever the same. I'm always adding bells and whistles, and I might try a new bit. And, like, for example, I wrote, apparently at this election, it got me so pumped up last night, I sat on Twitter for like 8 hours, and I wrote like 50 jokes or something. So tonight when I go host the show in Brooklyn, I'm going to rattle off all of the stupid Trump jokes that I wrote.
Could you give us one?
Okay. Well, by looking at my most favorites here, I said, well, it started like last night. So I said, so everyone's skeptical about Trump having the nuclear codes. Don't worry about it. He just tweeted them. And then this one's good. This is all Christie stuff. I'm like, come on, you guys didn't see this? If you want to get to 270, then Chris Christie's your guy. And then I said, Chris Christie took a deep breath when he endorsed Donald Trump. Tonight, he finally exhaled, and the Earth's temperature rose by 1 degree.
He's the worst. I hate Christie.
Yeah, he is an asshole.
I mean, those guys, but they gambled, man. I mean, isn't this unbelievable? Like, these fucking guys, I mean, I don't know how these guys slept in the last 500 days. Like, that was another one I wrote early on. I was like, when I voted, it felt like it was the first time I bathed in 511 days, which was the Trump president. So that, I had fun with it last night. I'm not really a current events guy. Look, I don't really give a fuck about politics. I mean, if there's conflict and I can make fun of it, great. Yeah. But that's not really how they train us in the big clubs in Manhattan. It's very topical. It's like, okay, it'll get laughs. It's references that everybody gets. But they kind of push us. They probe us to kind of like go deeper. Like, who are you? Like, what does this tell? Who and that's really the core of the traditional Manhattan club comic. It's like we want to know who you are, and that's why people come to New York. So that's that. I'll stop talking. You guys, let's have some fun. You got any questions or anything?
Yeah, I did. I want to know you're Italian. I didn't know if your mother checks up on you a lot, because I know Italian mothers can be a real fucking nudge.
Yeah, well, we all want to fuck our mothers, right? That's the whole idea, right?
He does.
No, I can't back that claim up.
I don't know if she nagged you, like if she still called every day and checked in with you or anything like that.
Well, that's good. I like that. So my mother, she's actually the funny one. My dad is he's from Sicily, and he's everything you see me say online about him is true. He's a very tough dude. And he's not the funniest guy in the world, but she's the funniest one. So I don't mind speaking with her. So to answer your question, no, she was born here, so she's more Americanized. She's not like them old grease. She's not like them old grease balls. She doesn't have a mustache. You know what I'm saying? So. No, but I talk to her every now and then because I actually bounce material and shit off of her, and she fucking loves it. And I talk shit about them, and they love it. I mean, they're actually pretty cool. They're not that bad, but
that's cool.
Yeah, but I made another joke last night. It says I'm moving out of the country. You know, it's a big step from my mother's basement. Or if I do a show like at Dangerfield, there's always a lot of Italians at Dangerfield. So I'll say, like, you fucking, you know, my mother, like, she's right there. And I'll just point at, like, some old Italian lady. Be like, what? Don't look at me like that. You know, just fucking around. So. Who
have you performed with?
I performed with a lot of. My guys are my heroes are the guys that are just killing it right now on the scene. So, you're familiar with Bob DeBono, who does that great Trump impression?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bob DeBono, DIBUONO, who's been on the Nightly Show, Comedy Central, Last Comic Standing. He's my brother in comedy. I've known him for 17 years. He's the one that got me into comedy. He's top of the line here in New York City. I love him. I love Steve Marshall. Steve Marshall comes from the old school. He's like a direct Dangerfield guy. He's an old school, just as traditional Manhattan comic as you could have. And then there's Dante Nero, who has the Beige Phillip podcast. Dante's a badass motherfucker. Pat Dixon's great. I've never had the pleasure of working with Colin Quinn or Rich Voss, and those two guys are like my top heroes. I love those guys.
Quinn is hilarious. Yeah, so is Voss, but Colin Quinn is fucking hilarious, dude.
Dude, the best.
Yeah.
He's the best. And no one could do what he does. You know, so, and just like with Burr, whatever comes out of Burr's mouth, like, who I think is the best comedian on the planet right now, Bill Burr. So, but like whatever comes out of Burr's mouth, nobody else can do that shit. Nobody can come up with it. And the same could be said for like Colin Quinn.
Yeah, that's cool.
Rich Voss had a great joke that I retweeted. It's an old joke that he did a while ago, and I did it because of the whole, thing with the black and the white president. So, of course, there's a black president going out and there's a white president coming in. So I retweeted one of Voss's old jokes, and he said when Voss did the Def Comedy Jam, and he was like the only white guy on the stage. He said, you know what they say? Once you go white, you go right back to black.
That was actually a really good response.
That's a great Rich Voss.
That's amazing. Sisters love me. Come on,
That's a scary.
He's the best.
Yeah, that is really good.
You might have to call back as Voss sometime.
Did you practice that?
No, it's just because I know him. So Bob DeBono does the best impersonation of him, and then he says, yeah, Bob does 2.5 impressions, and that was half of them. So Bob actually does a really good impression. Here's a funny story. When I was in Florida, I was in Marco Island in like 2006, and I was going to like a fucking crab shack, and I know Rich for years. I know Rich since '99, when Rich was like top of the game here. And I remember, like, I was hungry as fuck, and they're like, oh, it's $20 to get in. It's fucking comedy show. And I'm like, fuck this comedy. I'm hungry. I look, it was Rich. And I'm like, Mom, we got to go in. I know him. And we had a ball. We had an absolute, and all he did was bitch and moan about how his agent booked him at a fucking crab shack at Marco Island. And then I saw him last year, and I'm like, hey, Rich. He's like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, hey, Rich, you remember when you did that show in fucking Marco Island? He goes, oh, yeah, that was horrible. And I said, so here's the funny part. I go, you were really nice to my parents. He goes, I was nice to your parents? Because, Rich is kind of known for not, talk about crowd work, man.
Yeah. Dude, I met him once at a comedy show, and I shook his hand. I was like, hey, Rich, nice to meet you. And he just goes, look at this fucking asshole. It was a fat dude. He goes, isn't he the pinnacle of health? And I just started fucking cracking up.
He's such a great guy. And you know what? He was one of the first guys to I mean, he created the scene that we're in here right now. So without Rich, there'd be no Bob. Without Bob, there'd be no me. Without Rodney, there'd be no Steve Marshall. So we're all kind of, have our direct connects into where we come from.
Nice, dude. What is your favorite place to perform? Is it Dangerfield's?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there's three different types of stages. I like Dangerfield. I love Dangerfield just because you got the fucking piano. No, the owner won't move the piano. I just lean on the piano and scream at people. So I kind of got a thing when I go up there. So I just did a big show there on Monday night, and I did really well, if I might say so myself. No, Dangerfield is good, but then there's those are the top clubs. So I did Gotham. I was doing the Sunday show at Gotham, but then that got phased out. I performed once. I opened early. Steve Byrne was doing the big show upstairs, so I like to tell people I opened for Steve Byrne, even though I didn't. But but he's a friend of mine too. No, I like Gotham. Gotham stage is different, but I like getting in the Village. The Village is, that's where comedy lives and breathes, man. So I like just the raucousness, and it's raw in the Village. Even Greenwich Village Comedy Club in the basement, it's a fucking anus, But that's fucking. So there's the big clubs like Gotham, Dangerfield. Then there's the middle level clubs like Greenwich Village Comedy Club and Grizzly Pear and all. But then there's the Comedy Cellar, which I'm probably 10 years away from getting in there. I mean, that's some real massive shit that goes on there.
Have you ever gone, do you tour or do you strictly perform up there? Do you ever go back to Chicago and perform?
Yeah, so no, the answer to that right now is no, just because I'm so busy in New York. And I had an opportunity to go to Chicago and do Zanies in October, November. Bob was going, and Bob had an hour. He was the headliner because he's just Bob. Seriously, if everybody's listening, look up Bob DeBono. He's one of the, in my opinion, he's the top comic here in New York City. So he's an entertainer. Does impressions, screams, yells, jumps into the crowd, does a bunch of jokes and bits. And I mean, he's all, an entertainer. That's what, the Manhattan Club comic can get up and do the best. They do their same jokes in the same voice and same jokes. They're really good jokes. It's great.
Are you in the eye of a hurricane right now?
Oh, is it because I'm on my balcony?
We can hear the wind.
I heard you're in the subway, bro.
Hey, man, that's real Brooklyn shit. You were just on a Brooklyn balcony, man. Fucking, that's what's real about it. So, no, I had the opportunity to go to Chicago. I declined it. I think I'm going to start doing tour dates in 2017. I'm ready. Everybody thinks I'm ready, but then that's a whole other part of the business. Now you're dealing with bookers. Now you're going on the road. You're coming out of pocket. Sometimes you don't even make money. Sometimes you lose money. That's a whole other fucking animal. But making people happy is good and it's fun. But you got to weigh it out.
I don't know what happened with the silence there for a little bit.
I was waiting for more wind and a dog.
You were just on a Flatbush Brooklyn balcony right now. So I'm the only white guy on my block here. I just want you to know that. So, but you
got street cred.
You know what that means.
Do you get street cred, or do they do they run your pockets? Do they take your cigarettes?
No, I'm the only white guy on the block, which means that I'm the mayor of my block. That's what that means.
Oh yeah, of course.
So sorry about the wind. I got my earpiece in, and does this sound okay?
Sounds good, dude.
It's fine.
What's up?
So who else have you had on your show from New York City for a comedy comedian?
Cyrus McQueen.
Oh my God, he's one of my favorites. I love that guy.
He's fucking hilarious.
Oh my God, I'm glad you brought. He is. He's one of those people that when I perform with him, I get all like Google guy. I'm like a fan with him.
Dude, he is hilarious.
But we performed together. So last time we were at Broadway, he did a bit about he saw some brother in a car and he was singing Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light, and he said he did the whole thing, he acted it out, and he's like, who says brothers don't like the police? Oh, we're fucking dying. Oh man, he's just like when he walks in the room, he's just one of them guys, man. He's just
funny, man.
Like that's New York comedy. You get what I'm saying? So just now, like I'm like, oh God, I just love that guy. So we're all sticking together. I will say this about the scene that it's a very healthy scene. It is very helpful. Everybody helps one another. I mean, granted, as you get higher and you're competing for spots on like TV or at the Cellar, yeah, that does get political. That's a level of bullshit that I've not experienced yet. But yeah, I mean, I look forward to it. That means you're fucking doing something, right? You know, so yeah. So I mean, like right now, I have one booker, and I kind of switched over from another guy. And that started a whole lot of shit, and it really stressed me the fuck out. But then my mom, who I do kind of talk to every day, she's like, "Well, you must be doing something right if they're fucking arguing over you."
They're fighting over you, bro.
You know, I mean,
you're like the hot chick. You're like the fresh meat in the cell block.
Yeah, man. I just show up. I just show up and look good, man. I'm not even that funny. I just show up and smile, and I smell good, and I point at people and say, "What the fuck are you doing? How'd you meet?" You know, and all that shit. That's it. It's comedy 101.
Nice, dude. Nice. Oh man, who else we have on?
Was Kevin Goatee?
I was gonna ask if Kevin Goatee. He's from Jersey, but I know he performs in New York a lot.
Yeah, he's a Jersey.
Yeah, I was supposed to be on a show with him last week or something.
Comics
I don't know
watching
if I got
comics or a comedy show.
I was on the lineup with Goatee for something, and it didn't happen. I can't because I do so many shows. Sometimes they get canceled. Sometimes I get bumped. Sometimes so many different things could happen. But I was on a show with Goatee, and it didn't end up happening. But I was looking forward to meeting it.
Who else? Craig Lloydgren. Craig Lloydgren is hilarious.
He's Jersey though, right?
Staten Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's Staten
Island. He's
yeah,
crazy,
the best,
man.
He's
Staten Island as it gets.
Oh yeah. You
those
cut
guys,
him open in garbage.
There's a whole Staten Island scene, and those guys are pretty fucking funny when they come to town. And because they're they got their own thing. I don't know if it's in the water. Or I don't know if they're fucking inbred or what. But they got their own thing. And then Jersey, there is some overspill, but there's so many good comics, and Jersey's got its own scene.
Yeah.
But I haven't even tapped into that because, like I said, I'm fucking pretty goddamn busy. I mean, I'm on the street. Right.
Cool, man. Joey, we have to wrap this up, dude. But where can everybody find you?
Okay, well, you could find me across all social media at Joey D New York. That's JOEYD New York. Joey D New York on all social media platforms. And JoeyDNewYork.com, it should have went up today, but obviously it didn't, and I apologize for that. So, but you can go there, and you can sign up for the newsletter. I don't spam you. I send out maybe one newsletter a month, and obviously when I go on tour, that's obviously going to expand. So just anywhere, Joey D New York, I'm all across the board. I'm performing every motherfucking night in New York, and even if you want to send me a message, DM me, or message me on Facebook, I will make sure that you're taken care of. You guys know that I'm very hands-on and I interact with all my people. So I really appreciate the opportunity here and spending time with you guys.
Thanks for coming on, man.
All right, guys. You guys have a good night.
You too.
Have a good one, man.